Hello everybody, and welcome back to Echo. Hello Wildfire, hello. Hope you are doing alright on this evening. At least it's evening for me. It's that Halloween evening, I think. I don't know, I heard screaming earlier. I suppose that was the young adults being all, like, rambunctious and things, but it's okay then. It was fine. I woke up, nothing was on fire, so, you know, we're good. Always good, always good. Hello, Michael, hello. Yeah, I do be doing the good. I do be there. Am early? Ben, you're awake at this hour? Don't you normally wake up like 2 or 3 hours from now? Welcome though, welcome. I hope you've had enough sleep. Hello, Cot. Hello. Yeah, this will probably be the final stream with the Chunter model. I hope you have all enjoyed a week of Chunter. We'll be going back to the regular model. Look, I managed to... We're going to be finishing this game. Like, yeah, sure, like, Halloween ends in an hour for me, but I can say that, we finished up this before the end of before things. Yeah. I started stream before the end, so it's fine. That's how it is. What happened last time? We had fun car adventures. We got to see a weird little monster that made us fall into the lake after ramming into us. Lots of things happened. Leo's losing it more than normal. We love to see it. And while we were taking a piss, we got man-grabbed by Brian. Now we're with Brian. That is how we're going to phrase how all of that went down, I think. That is how this is going to work. Yes. The truck takes another hard turn, and I brace myself in the little well. These swerves and turns are becoming more frequent. I can't really see out the window, but I'm pretty sure we're headed into the mountains. Was that creature thing going to attack us? Should I warn Brian? But we've all been seeing shit for a long time, even before this crazy shit started a few days back. Brian glances down at me again. Haven't you seen stuff here? My mind immediately thinks back to when I was a kid. I've seen plenty of things, plenty of horrible things. But the psychiatrist had said that was normal, and that sometimes kids hallucinate. I notice that Brian's not wearing his seatbelt, and I start to toy with the idea of grabbing the wheel. Again, I might be killed. It would at least stop Brian from taking me to wherever it is he's taking me. It might even be better to die. Maybe. But my parents, my friends, they haven't seen stuff. They haven't really seen stuff. Except Jenna, and now TJ and Carl after all this started. Brian grins with his crooked and missed teeth. Seems we only see shit if there's a reason to. I don't know. But it is, I don't know what it is either, but from what I've seen, it's a combination of a shitty experience and being an echo. The truck is slowing down a little now as we start taking sharp turns. Brian's calmed down at least, but it also means that we're definitely deep into the mountains at this point, the road having turned to gravel. When I was a kid in Peyton, I didn't see shit, even though I had a pretty fucked up childhood. My mom left when I was about 6 because my dad was a piece of shit. But you know, she's a piece of shit for leaving me with him. Anyway, you know where my dad told me she'd gone? I don't say anything until Brian looks down at me expectantly. Where? Brian cackles, and it sends a chill up my spine. That aliens had taken her. I press myself deeper into the well, wishing I could just disappear into the floor. I think he must have been drunk or high, maybe both, but it stuck with me, you know? I nod, trying to keep the bear happy as he drives along a road so curvy it seems impossible in my mind. Oh, hello, Q. Hope you're doing alright. Yeah, the happy of the Halloweeners. Yeah. Then, when I was a teenager in 87 or so, I got myself a boyfriend. Well, more of a fuck buddy. We kinda hated each other. He talked too much, but he was a good fuck, and the only faggot I knew. So I came here every other week or so to fuck him. But then something weird happened on my second or third trip out here. I remember the moon was red that night because of the forest fires out west. And I kept looking at it, and that's when I saw a flying saucer. Like one straight out of a cartoon with lights and a dome thing on top. I couldn't believe it, but there it fucking was, floating through the sky. And you know, even though it looked fucking stupid as fuck, I knew. Brian takes a big wide turn, and the truck slows more and more until it comes to a rumbling halt. My ears ring in the silence as Brian continues to stare out into the night, the headlights lighting up his face. It knew I saw it, and it was fucking evil. I just knew it. Oh, Chewie, hello! Hope you're doing alright tonight. Brian finally looks down at me again. That night, and almost every night after, I'd wake up and couldn't move, and aliens would be around my bed. And there was this one alien that I knew was my mom. She didn't look like my mom. She looked like an alien. But I just knew it was her, and she'd do things to me. Sometimes in my mouth and eyes and nose. But usually my dick. Torture me, and it felt fucking real. Brian chuckles, still staring at me. Fucked me up good, and I blamed my boyfriend for it, for bringing me to Echo, because I was sure that's where the evil came from. I outed him that year, and he had to leave town because of it. The massive bear shakes his head. Didn't stop the dreams, though. Brian pulls the truck in park and then shuts off the engine. We sit there in the darkness and silence, and even though I'm just emptied my bladder, oh my god, Chase, I feel like I'm gonna piss myself again. All right, did he finish pissing himself earlier? Is that what that means? Or did he just piss himself right now? You decide. Never told anyone that before. I don't say anything as I just breathe through my mouth, trying to make as little sound as possible. There's something fucked up in this town that makes us see things. Feel things from our past or some shit. How many times will you empty yourself tonight? Oh god, yeah, Chase. It's weird because it's like only on this day that he's talked about how often he pisses. When he's pissed like 2 or 3 times this night. He hasn't even been drinking a lot of water, has he? Maybe. Who knows? It's never this bad in the other routes. Instead, in Carl's route, he just trips a lot. And Duke told me about it. How it's been happening a fucking long time, but he thinks there's a way to fix it. And Brian suddenly opens the door and jumps out. Barely disguised fetish. Oh my god. After re-release, the new. Oh, okay, Ben. All right. Well, I hope you're able to, you're not too sleepy, or that you're got enough sleep. Gotta stay healthy, right? He slams the door hard enough to make my ears pop. For about 5 seconds, I will myself to move, to run, to open the door and sprint into the night. You napped earlier? There we go. But my body refuses to move, and before I know it, the bear is yanking open my door and grabbing me by the wrist. And if you help me out here, we can be done with it for good. He pulls me out roughly. My legs are like rubber when he sets me on the ground, but he holds me up easily with his paws on my arms. Can you promise to help me? Then I'll let you go, and we'll be free of the evil, okay? All I can do is nod dumbly. All right, it's gonna be okay, Otter. I promise. Brian transfers his iron-like grip to my wrist and starts to pull me along. I stumble after him weakly, trying not to trip in the darkness. Brian stops next to the truck bed and starts to rummage around inside. I feel like I'm going to pee again. Oh my god. Oh, what do you need me to do, though? Brian finally pulls something out, and it looks shiny and heavy. I open my mouth to scream, but that's when a burst of light comes out of one of the ends of it. It's a maglite? I don't know what that is. That's fine. I stare at it, gaping stupidly. Brian sweeps the beam of light around. Is it just a flashlight? Why didn't they just say flashlight? Why not just say that? They call it a torch in some countries, right? Is that a specific type of flashlight? That's fine, it's fine. Brian sweeps the beam of light around. All around us is gravel, sagebrush, and some cacti. I have no idea where we are. I need to get something, and it's in a place that's too small for me to squeeze into. I need your help to get it. Okay? No, okay, but what is it? Brian ignores me, looking around. He seems to settle on a direction and sets off, pulling me along with him. Anyway, it makes me think. All these ghosts and UFOs and monsters people see in the woods, I think they're all connected somehow. Yeah? I focus on trying to keep the bear happy, pretending to be interested in his ramblings. Meanwhile, we're not even on the trail, just pushing through thick brush and sharp rocks. Yeah, like little bits of echo are everywhere in the world. Some small, like a house. Some huge, like a town. That makes sense. No, it doesn't. None of this makes sense. But I have to focus on getting away from the bear. I know I should have made a run for it back in the car, but there's no helping that now. We walk for maybe about 100 yards. As we do, the land starts to incline and become steep. Brian even slips up a few times, and I'm worried he's going to fall on top of me. Each time he manages to catch himself, then he yanks me up after him. After a few minutes of huffing and puffing, we reach a bit of an outcrop with some large boulders. Brian lets go of me and clamps up the side of one, and before I can even think of running, he's turned around and grabbed me up by the scruff. Okay. I squeak as I'm lifted into the air, feeling like a pup again before I'm set down beside the bear. And Brian looks around, keeping a hold on my wrist as he does. After some stomping and looking around with his flashlight, he seems to find what he's looking for. He brings us to the edge of a boulder, then he lifts me up again, this time by the wrist. I kick around for a moment before he lowers me slowly into a dark, spacious hole. I start to wonder if it's going to go down for a while, and I panic. Before my feet touch, down on soft, cold dirt. Musty, cold air wafts from one black space in front of me. Immediately, Brian drops down next to me, snatching up my paw again. He shines the light into the dark patch in front of me, and I see what looks like a narrow tunnel, burrowing into the side of the incline we're on. What is that? Brian grunts and starts to pull me into the opening, but I pull back. Brian yanks me hard, and it feels like he almost dislodges my shoulder. I yelp loudly. Shut up! Brian hisses at me as he turns sideways to better fit into the tunnel. It's the mine, you idiot! What? I look back at the opening, back toward Echo, gently illuminated by moonlight. I thought it was sealed. It is. This is a back entrance. Duke told me about it years ago. Said his family's known about it for decades. We pushed through for a while until we came to another tunnel. This one twice as wide as the one we were just in. Oh, this background. Oh, yeah. This only gets used a couple times, doesn't it? It branches to the left and right. Brian stands there for a moment, inhaling deep as he looks around. Hang on. It's been a while. I can't help myself but blurt out. You don't know where you don't know where to go? I expect him to hit me or something, but he ignores me. Finally, he pulls me to the left. The idea of being trapped here with Brian, lost in a mine, is more terrifying than anything that happened in the town so far. The air is so musty and dry, I feel like coughing and sneezing at the same time, but I try to hold it in so I don't upset Brian. We walk for another 10 minutes or so, taking a few more turns. I try to memorize the route in case I'm able to break free, but after 5 or so branches I realize I can't remember the second or third. Brian suddenly speaks up, nearly making me jump in the darkness. After a while, I stopped seeing aliens. His grip is tight, and I can feel that the circulation in my paw is cut off. It's like it's just a mass of pins and needles at this point. Now I just see people. What kind of people? People you know? I try to keep Brian talking while I think. At some point, he's going to have to let go of me again, and that's when I'm going to have to make a run for it, no matter what. Kudzu probably saw which direction we drove in, and he probably went to Leo to get the car. But at this point, I doubt they're going to be able to find us, at least not in time. We went into the mountains, probably through some back roads that none of us even knew existed. Then Brian took me through hundreds of yards of desert to find a tiny opening behind a boulder. There's no way they're going to find me here. I'm on my own. Well, I see just one person, but the person changes every now and then. Brian pauses, looking into a narrow opening in the tunnel wall, even more narrow than the first passage. Depending on who it was, I last knew. Before I can figure out what he meant by that, I'm shoved hard, forced to enter the passage in front of Brian. It's just wide enough that I can walk straight, my shoulders nearly touching both sides. Brian, on the other hand, has to suck in and move sideways, grunting and cursing and making all kinds of noises. Brian's let go of me as he tries to pull himself through, though he keeps knocking into me to send me forward. I try to escape, but I have a feeling that doesn't exist ahead of me. In fact, it feels like I'm being trapped. I can't explain it, but I start to get a terrible feeling that something awful is waiting for me at the end of this passage. And then I start to smell something. It's old, and almost covered up by the dust and mustiness, but it's definitely there. Sweet and sick, something rotting. It feels like ice water is poured down my back and I freeze. Only to be given a shove by the bear behind me. I fall forward into the opening. The smell entombs me, and I know without looking that I'm surrounded by death. I lay there on the floor, not moving, listening to Brian as he tries to squeeze through the opening. I can remember years ago when I was maybe 12, walking along the dirt road back home after hanging out with Carl. On the side of the road, I saw some roadkill, and just as I passed by it, I could see the white maggots writhing through the fur. The smell from that single moment was almost unbearable, and I gagged and ran past. And while the odor is a bit more faint, it's almost exactly the same. I hear Brian finally shift free from the exit, and he shines the light back at me. Ah, it's just a hole. Just a little hole. I know I should run. I know I need to get the fuck out of here. I know I should be fighting like hell. Because I know what's coming. Is this what it's like for people to get kidnapped or murdered? People wonder why they didn't fight harder, or run when they had the chance. I should have ran the second we stopped in the truck. But right now, it's like I'm stuck in ice. More frantic thoughts are interrupted as Brian grasps me by the back of my shirt and pulls me back up to my feet. I'm able to stand and just sort of crumble down next to him. The bear grunts and just drags me along into the little opening that we're in, dropping me against the wall. As Brian fumbles with the flashlight, I get glimpses of my surroundings. Grumble a little bit, just a little bit. It's small, maybe about 15 feet or 10 feet wide. It's narrow enough that Brian takes up most of the space, and I'd be hard-pressed to get past him. How did, Brian, Devin, and Cameron fit in here, and have, enough room for a fist fight? That's what I'm wondering. I draw my knees up to my chest and hug them, feeling numb. God, you're such a useless piece of shit. I watch Brian lean over, something against the wall. It looks like two long, polished pieces of wood. Brian tips the flashlight down, and I see that those pieces of wood are attached to a shovel and a pickaxe. Brian grabs the pickaxe, and for a heart-stopping moment, I think he's going to turn to me. But instead, reaches into his pocket and pulls out something small and rectangular. It's not until he opens it and shines his light on it that I see it's some kind of small notebook. The bear looks at the notebook, then back up at the little cave we're in. The silence is almost unbearable, and I feel the need to say something, if only to fill that silence. What are you doing? You know exactly what he's doing. Brian ignores me as he continues to search for something. I whimper softly in the back of my throat. Unbearable! Now we need to take those Teddy Persona 4 jokes and leave those out of here. Come on. Come on. Please? About to be murdered, and you just beg like a little bitch. Shut up. I can't help it as I hiss through my teeth at that goddamn voice. I don't need to hear it, especially now. Brian stiffens and turns around. What? I shake my head, squinting and unable to see his face as the bear turns the light on me. Nothing, I just... No, you were talking to something. Did you see someone? No. I don't know. I shut my eyes again against the light and only see blood red. Brian chuckles, and my vision goes back to black as he turns the light away. I was the same as you. Let me tell you something, though. Ignoring it ain't gonna make it go away. Brian finally stops scanning the ground and crouches down. It takes me a moment to realize what he's looking at until he reaches down and picks it up. A smooth stone. Brian looks at it for a moment, thinking. Then he drops it off to the side and looks back down at his book. What is this, Daniel? Daniel. 19. Ferret. He was the smallest, I think. Should be enough room. Brian shines the light back down on the ground for a moment, and then seems to make up his mind as he sets the butt of the flashlight on the ground. It brightly lights up the ceiling, leaving us in a dim yellow glow. Brian eyes me for a moment, positioning himself so he can watch me while also doing his work. Crouching over, Brian starts breaking through the hard surface of the dirt with a pickaxe, grunting with each strike. He can only do little short swings, the ceiling too low for Brian to even stand up straight. At this point, the smell of Brian is almost overwhelming the stench of death. I guess it's one of the few things I don't mind his smell covering up. Why aren't you at least trying to escape? Because he's in the way. Because you're a coward. Why the fuck are you talking to me now? I thought you left. I never left. You know that. You felt me even after you left the town. I shouldn't have come back. Probably not. I'm going insane. Brings back memories of my old life. I'm going insane and I'm bringing back all of my old demons. No. I think it's because you're in the mine. I think you've figured out that it's the source of everything, haven't you? The voice I've been trying to ignore all week has changed. It's not vague or insidious anymore. It's more natural, like a real person. Maybe like what I used to hear when I was a kid. Well, I was a real person. Sometimes I even doubt I am that person. I chuckle, and I feel the back of my brain itch. More like what do you call it? A simulation. It waits for an answer, but I don't want to talk to it. Oh, stop pretending I'm not here. You can feel me. You felt me looking over your shoulder since you got here. I let my head thump against my knees, closing my eyes. Well, really ever since Sydney. Just ignore it. But I can understand. Even I feel as though something is controlling me. It's the oldest thing. Hey! I snap my head up, jumping as I find the bear staring right at me. The hell are you mumbling? Nothing. Brian chuckles again and reaches across the other wall, grabbing the shovel. He starts digging up the loose patch of dirt in front of him. Yeah, keep it to yourself, I guess. But, like I said, you ain't the only one. Brian gestures behind him with a thumb, toward the ground. I look and see nothing except a few stones on the ground. After Rachel back there, things got way worse than aliens for me. I saw her at night, crawling on my ceiling, peeking out from under the bed, staring at me from my window. Brian grunts as he digs the shovel deep, then lifts, turning a pile of dirt over to the side. So did Duke. Drove him crazy. It turned him into a speed addict. And not that I mind. He was always my most reliable customer. The sick sweet scent starts to grow again, and it's starting to become overwhelming. I feel like I should keep him talking, get him comfortable, and buy myself more time. Should you, though? Is this Rachel, or... Yeah, this is Rachel, right? That's how this is pronounced? Look, I don't know names, man. Yeah. Who's Rachel? Duke's wife. I try to remember what I know about Duke's marriage, aside from the fact that he isn't married anymore. I realize that I do remember Rachel, but just barely. She was only around while I was in grade school, and was pretty nice as far as I can remember. Didn't he divorce her? Brian shrugs as he starts digging, resting on the handle. I guess he sorta did, but I mean, she was dead by then. They wanted my stuff, but didn't have the money, so I cut him a deal to fuck for the drugs instead. I mean, I can't say I like bitches at all, annoying and whiny, but she let me go way farther than Duke ever did, so I mainly fucked around with her. It's not hard for me to picture exactly what that fucking was. Then one day I went... I guess I went too far. She died and we buried her right here. Brian points more specifically at a rock sitting against the side of the wall. The big bear starts to dig again, more vigorously, lengthening the patch that's he's working on. But I didn't see her up until right after I buried her, about a week later. Then the bear shakes his head and laughs mockingly. You'd think they'd stop me from doing it again, but you know, when that last breath came out of her, and she sorta shuddered on the table. Brian glances up at me. Blew my load without even touching it. Made me wonder how good it would be with a guy, if it was that good with a bitch. You want him to keep talking? Yeah, we're in the hole, dragon. And Brian pauses in his sudden spurt of digging and looks up back at me. Probably wondering why I'm telling you this. Thinking I'm crazy. But I don't know. Feels good to tell someone. You're like my own little therapy otter. The bear looks back down at the hole he made. The smell coming out of it is so overpowering, I'm on the verge of gagging again. I don't see her anymore, though. It changes with each one. 7 stones. And it'll probably change again. And with that, the bear comes at me. The space is so small, it only takes him 2 steps. I scream and cover my mouth. Coward. Come on, Sam, where is he? We're just a little guy. And try to fold up into as tight a ball as I can, but before I know it, Brian has me by the back of my shirt. He drags me over until I'm kneeling next to the hole. I can see it's definitely a grave now. You already knew. Because I can see the bones poking through the dirt, the bits of blue and white clothes that were cloth that were its clothes. You mean Daniel, the 19-year-old ferret. I feel like me telling y'all this, and me being all nice to you so far. Maybe don't come back after me, and just move on. I feel Brian move around behind me, and then press something cold into the back of my head. A gun. I guess Brian probably has plenty of those. I'm doing the town some good after all. How? I blurt out, my mind racing, trying to think of something, anything to get out of this. Brian does pause, though. How what? How is this helping anyone? Why are you doing this? A few seconds go by, and I'm sure I'm about to hear the crack of the pistol, the last thing I'll ever hear. Then Brian sighs. Again? I feel like I should tell you everything, so, you know, you don't have to come back and fuck with me. But, Duke, he said this all started when you came back. Alright, see you, Wildfire. I told you I have no idea why. My voice rises in pitch, and I start to panic. Duke has already tried to kill me, even after we tried to convince him I had nothing to do with any of this. Not any of this. Are you sure about that? I feel Brian set his feet behind me, and I can picture him getting ready to pull the trigger. I'm going to die. This keeps happening, doesn't it? This hysteria. I'm sorry. Remember, this is for the good of the town. To me, it's like the town holds its breath, letting all the evil build up until it has to let it all out in one big go. Brian grips into my head fur, pressing the barrel of the gun into the back of my head. And you brought a lot of guilt and evil with you back to this town. Maybe that was enough to push it over the edge again. Rest easy. So in a way, it is your fault, isn't it? My eyes are watering, and I don't know if it's from Brian's grip in my fur, or if I'm crying. Help me. I say it to you. Man, that's such a good moment. This is like it's so good. I really like this shit. Look to my right. I glance up to my right and see something standing in the entrance to our little hollow. It's faint, either because of the dim lighting or because the thing itself isn't quite opaque. It's tall, white, and gangly, and its long fingers nearly touch the ground. Its face is heart-shaped, the whiteness of its interrupted by massive, shiny black eyes in its face. It stands there, motionless, watching us. I stand there, open-mouthed. Brian must have taken notice, because the next thing I know, the bear squeals. It's so loud and high-pitched I wince. Brian lets me go, just as the thing moves. It seems to lean forward and glide towards us, but the glide is stilted, like a film with half-seconds missing from it. It flickers, seeming to turn transparent as it grows closer, the white fading to pink, then a bright red for a brief second before reverting. I'm frozen, kneeling as I watch. Brian backs away and promptly steps on the flashlight. The lighting careens sideways, and I look over to see Brian's foot slip on the cylindrical flashlight before his rump comes down hard on top of it. All light is extinguished, and I can't see the thing or Brian now. I hear him, though, as he lets out another screech of pure fear, like a wounded animal. I hear something else, too. A voice that's also high-pitched, bobbling, something fast and senseless. It's like a tape recorder being rewound. Brian's screeching impossibly turns up a notch, and I instinctively move forward, away from the horrible sounds, and I pitch forward into the hole. Pinch, not pitch. Pinch? Pitch? Yeah. The smell engulfs me, and I can feel the hard, knobbling things in the dirt around me. Where are we going? Just taking a back road. But we're leaving the city. Yeah, well, I live outside the city. You didn't tell me that. Let's just go back to the club. Alright, pull the fuck over. Let me out. I said pull over. Where the fuck is the lock? You best not be doing that. Hey, get off of me. I grasp and scramble off the grave, gagging uncontrollably. Once I'm out, I curl up on my side, drawing in my knees again. The horrible screeching and bizarre babbling language continues, though the sounds from Brian are even more ragged now. Occasionally the room flashes with light as Brian shifts around, but I face the wall, not wanting to look. Get up. I curl up tighter, just waiting, hoping that I wake up. You sniveling little shit! Get up! I press my face into the dirt. Trust me, there's far worse out there, and it's coming for you unless you get up and get out. I've given up. You force yourself up onto your hands and knees and start crawling to the direction of the exit. The flashlight continues to be rolling around, giving you glimpses of where you're going. The sounds from Brian have stopped. Now it's just the mechanical, gibberish that seems to be growing in pitch and speed. But you don't look back. You don't need to see that. The otter is already broken enough. Soon you're crawling through the exit, and the cacophony behind you is immediately muted. It becomes more and more faint until it almost disappears as you come out the other side. Once you're free, you stand up in the comparatively fresh, cool air. Oh, here, let me turn that down for you guys. That looks a little bit loud in the levels. The main tunnel. You remember this place. You also know the tunnels like the back of your hand. It's pitch black, but you feel along the walls. You should be able to find your way out. You head to the right, down toward the end of the main tunnel, with your right hand dragging along the wall. Then, when you feel an opening with your hand, you take a left, then another right. And finally, a final right that takes you out the back exit. Nick had drilled the directions into your head far too many times for you to. Ah, a Nick mention. A good boy. A good lad. Red eyes appear at the end of the tunnel, at the end of the last stretch. You freeze and observe. Things in the mines can hurt you far worse than things outside. Brian had just experienced that. But you're not sure. Is this one of the otter's demons, or... No. It's something else. Something you're not quite seeing correctly. A friend. The lizard. He's warped. Jace? Aw, look guys, it's Flynn. We haven't seen him since... Wednesday? Wednesday was the last time we saw Flynn, right? That's kind of nice seeing him again. He's just here. Just grab him by the snoot. Do you all ever get, like, the urge to do that? Where you just want to, like, grab them by their whole ass snoot and then just shake it around? I slump to my knees, shaking uncontrollably as Flynn shines a light down on me. Fuck, Chase! Come on, let's go! Flynn yanks me to my feet, and the next thing I know, I'm stumbling after him. Out of the mind, and out of what I'm now completely convinced is hell. I sit in the passenger seat of Flynn's truck, feeling numb. I choose to stare out the window, watching the desert rush by as Flynn tries to ask me questions. Where's the bear? I shake my head. Is he still in the mine? I think so. What happened? I don't know. It feels strange being back out here. While everything is definitely fucked up and strange out here in Echo, at least it makes some sense. The mine is completely different. It's... chaos. That's the word. Chaos? What? How did you find me? I look back at Flynn and see that he's staring at me closely, barely keeping an eye on the road. I went to Leo's house. Found all of you guys except you, of course. Just waiting? I don't know how to feel about the idea of all of my friends just sitting around while a serial killer had me kidnapped. Of course, none of us really knew Brian was a serial killer. Well, a lot was going on. Kudzu, that raccoon, is the one that told me you were missing. Leo, on the other hand, said that you were fine. That he saw you around the house. What? Flynn shrugs. I have no fucking clue, man. But he was practically holding everyone hostage. Wouldn't give the keys up, so I had to take my own truck out here. Is everyone okay? Hopefully. Jenna said she'd try to keep him calm while I came to look for you. How did you know I was in the mine? Well, Kudzu pointed out the direction you went. I drove up the canyon since that's basically the only place he could go. I saw where you'd parked and I knew he'd taken you in there. But how did you know about that back entrance? Flynn shrinks, but yeah, smirks, not shrinks. What am I? I'm reading. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Flynn smirks as we come out of the curvy Echo Canyon onto a straight road to Echo. Does it really matter? Either way, I know a lot about the town. Okay, Flynn. Let's put aside explaining why until later, and by that, I mean never. You don't need to know, Chase. I watch Flynn for a while until he finally glances back at me. What? Where the hell have you been the past few days? Oh, in the town hall, managing stuff. Stuff? Like everything going on. I tried to find you guys at the hotel. At Carl's house, but I didn't see anyone. Assumed you tried to leave. That answer is far from satisfactory, but I have no energy to dig deeper. So are we going back? Yep. Then what? Well, what is it? They were saying something about a train, so I assume we try to get on that way. It sounds like you already found out you can't drive out. Yeah. We turn onto the road to Leo's house, and as I watch the house draw close, I can't help the growing sense of dread in the pit of my stomach. As soon as we step through the doorway, I'm engulfed in a combination of beige, gray, black, and white fur as I'm surrounded by my friends. Jenna, Carl, and Kudzu are all talking at once, asking me how I am, what happened, if I'm okay. Why would you ask if Chase is okay? You know he's emotionally not okay, and you see that he's walking around, so he's probably physically okay. So, like, those questions are just already answered, friends. Flynn puts up his hands. Guys, let him breathe! I don't think he's up for much talking. Jenna and Carl step back, but Kudzu doesn't. He's got a hand on my shoulder, gripping it like he doesn't think I'm real. Hey, I'm sorry. I should have been more careful. I should have let you piss on my fucking carpet instead, or something. No. It takes me a second to realize what he's talking about. The thing that got me into Brian's trap in the first place. It makes me laugh a bit at how earnest Kudzu looks compared to what just came out of his mouth. I also realize that I want to hug him really badly, so I do. I feel the raccoons stiffen up for a moment, then hug back. It feels so fucking good to be in the arms of someone I trust, and it seems to break through the numbness that I'm feeling, at least a little bit. Carl seems to take that as an invitation to hug as well, and Jenna joins in. I don't mind, and I wish I could stay like this forever. Actually, I just wish this all hadn't happened in the first place. It comes to an end eventually, and Kudzu is the last to draw back. I'm about to ask where TJ is when I see Leo. The wolf stands at the entrance of the hallway, his eyes on me and Kudzu. He's got a pillow in one paw, and his shirt is hitched up over his stomach a bit. Like he'd just pulled it on. What are you doing? The room goes quiet, and the mood immediately changes. Carl, Jenna, and Kudzu look very wary. No one says anything. I clear my throat. I'm back. And Brian took me to... Leo frowns. Back? No. You were in my room and asked for a pillow. We were, Leo's glance turns to Kudzu. Have they been telling you to say this? Leo, no. The look in my former boyfriend's eyes is completely alien to me. I've never seen that look from him before. I guess I knew that the town, or whatever all of this is, has gotten to him, but not completely taken him. Now I'm not so sure. Kudzu stands next to me, his shoulders in front of mine. Leo eyes him again, while turning back to me. Chase, come here. I don't move. The room is completely silent. Chase, I said come here. Leo, What the hell? Leo ignores Flynn, his steely eyes on mine. The feeling of coming to a safe place is completely gone now. Echo has seeped into every part of my life, it seems. But I don't move, and neither does Kudzu. Leo doesn't seem to know what to do. His face transforms from anger to confusion. Chula, you were just in the bedroom with me, and telling me... Leo trails off. I was in the mine, Leo, with Brian. Leo stares. The silence drags on until a soft clicking comes from the kitchen. What do you want? What are you doing here? Come on, TJ, we're having a moment. TJ looks as everyone looks as TJ emerges, staring at us with all with sad lost eyes. Yep. TJ, what is it? There's another train coming. Oh, good. Thank you for watching, TJ. I'm not sure if Jenna is relieved because her ride out is coming, or if it's because it can distract us from the whole Leo situation. We all move at once, squeezing past Leo out the backyard. He watches me pass him, dumbfounded. TJ's right. In the distance, I can see the light on the train, slowly winding its way towards us. Is it winding or winding? It's winding, right? Why is it spelled that way? I can't tell the difference between these words. At this point, dawn is just breaking. Somehow it's only been one night, even though it feels like it's been several weeks. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more hours in reading this night than there is hours in experiencing this night, right? This section's long. Alright. For whatever reason, the train is moving pretty fucking slow. We should be able to hop on it. The train wails in the distance again, much closer now. I thought I was gonna have to drive alongside it, with you all in the truck bed, honestly. The train does seem to be moving pretty slow, but as it gets closer, I realize that it's not exactly going at a jog to run alongside it. I might be able to catch it at full sprint. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'll get on first, along with Kudzu, and we're going to pull the rest of you along. Alright? Carl fidgets nervously. I don't know if I can run that fast. You will, now. I feel a paw land on my shoulder, and it makes me turn around. It's Leo. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hey, what is it? I look back at Flynn, wanting to hear what he's saying.
Listen to me. Everything you said at the house. Did you mean it?
Huh? What did I say? Leo looks impatient.
What you said about loving me, wanting to be with me forever. You meant that, right?
What? The train is approaching. We have maybe a minute.
What the fuck? Why are you acting like you don't fucking remember?
Leo bristles, teeth bared, eyes narrowing. Oh my god, Leo, let's get out of here first. I start to back away toward the others as they continue to discuss jumping the train.
No.
Leo grabs my shoulder, looking me right in the eye. He makes an effort to calm down, closing his eyes a moment before opening them.
Then tell me now. Are you going to stay with me when this is all over?
We can talk about this when we get on the train.
No. I want to know before.
I see Kudzu looking at us, and it looks like he's about to head over.
Just tell me the truth. That's all I want.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's, We'll do both endings, guys. We'll do both endings. We got the time. We're good. So we'll get the bad ending first, right? I promise. When we get on the train, that we'll figure everything out, okay? Leo watches me carefully, looking unsure. Kudzu is next to me at that moment though, and he pulls me back toward the group.
Come on. We're going now.
Both of these are awful? What do you mean they're both awful? I think they're great. Like, Leo's eyes flash as he watches, his teeth showing. I don't have time to try and console him anymore because the train starts pulling up. Spending the rest of your life with Leo is a bad ending, but he's so charming.
Run! Flynn shoves Carl forward, and the ram takes off alongside the rails, looking over his shoulder at the train. The next thing I know, we all running after Carl as the train catches up. I look back. Flynn waves both arms at the locomotive as it whizzes past, but if there's a reaction from the driver, I don't see it. I just have enough time to read the letters on the side of the engine, Prescott Railway, before it's moving past me down the tracks. I realize that the train is quite short, maybe only 5 cars in all. We won't have many chances. Kudzu! Flynn points out the caboose and starts running beside it, and next to 2 little steps that drop down at the very end of the platform. Gracefully, the lizard jumps, landing his feet on the steps as his hands scramble for some kind of purchase. He finds it and pulls himself in to the next second. He reaches out, holding onto a handle on the caboose as he grabs one of Kudzu's paws. With much more ease than Flynn had, Kudzu jumps up onto the step and pulls himself onto the platform. I pass Carl at this point, the ram already losing steam. He calls after me in a hoarse, ragged breath. Shit! I'm not gonna make it! Flynn grabs the ram as they pass, and Carl skips on the uneven gravel, and for a horrifying moment, I think he's gonna fall. But Kudzu leans in and snatches him up as well, practically lifting Carl onto the platform. Jenna, who's right beside me, is next, reaching out a paw to Flynn. He grabs it, and Jenna easily jumps on over the 2 steps. I think it's my turn next, but TJ slows down abruptly, and I move to his side to make room for him. Flynn grabs his arm, and TJ hesitates several times before Kudzu gets a grip of him as well, and he's able to step onto the first step. It's then that I realize that the train is picking up speed, and I'm starting to slow down. I move up beside the caboose, seeing Flynn's outstretched hand. Now that I'm next to it, I can see how terrifying this is. The wheels clack loudly in my ear, and I have no idea if I'm going to lift one leg while keeping up the speed. But I get a grasp of Flynn's hand, and I see Kudzu's paw reaching out as well. Then the train's going way too fast now, and I know I'll only have one chance at this. I pull down on their hands and lift my feet up to land on the last step. Once my feet make contact, relief floods through me. See, guys, we got on the train. We're all good. And then I hear the sound of stomping footsteps behind me. I look back and see Leo running next to me, snarling with every breath. I start to move quickly, wanting to be out of the way for Leo's turn, but that's when I see him already reaching out. For me? His anchor bracelet glinting in the moonlight. I don't have time to think as the wolf grabs the back of my shirt and pulls hard. I hear the threads pop in my collar as I'm choking. I lose my grip on Flynn and Kudzu. As I fall, I reach out and grab onto a railing on the platform. In doing so, my leg swings under the train, and I lose my grip. I hit the ground hard and roll several times before something catches my leg. I'm pulled violently within the train, and unbelievable pressure squeezes me, like my calves are caught in a vice. Suddenly, the train lets me go, and I come to an abrupt sliding stop in the gravel. I lay there, stunned, feeling nothing. And then an almighty throb goes through my legs. I gasp and push myself up. And then I see feet, and see my feet missing. You don't really need those anyway. I stare as my legs seem to end where the ends of my pants do. A dark stain pools out of the ground around them. I can't think. I don't know what to think. Chase! I look up and see Kudzu, just Kudzu, limping toward me. I wonder if he's missing a foot too, but no, just limping on it. As he approaches, I point at my missing feet, like maybe he'll have an answer to what happened. Fuck. Immediately, the raccoon drops down beside me, reaching for his waist. He undoes his belt, and I'm about to tell him now's not the time for that kind of stuff. Chesu. But then he starts putting the belt around one of his calves. That's when he lifts the pant leg, and I get the glimpse of ragged flesh and fur, blood, and white of the bone. Leo, you fucking dumbass! Give me your other belt! I hear footsteps behind me. Take it off. Lit! Kudzu go down! Dab! Kudzu slumps down over my legs, and I wonder if he's trying to stop the bleeding with his body. Ah, very good, very good. A similar dark pool starts to form around his head and face. Shit. I reach out and press a paw to his head, wishing I wore a belt so I could put it around his neck. Oh, no. Leo mumbles in my ear, pushing Kudzu off roughly as he looks at my legs. We're gonna get you fixed. I didn't mean for this to happen, but we'll figure something out. The wolf slides his arms around me and picks me up, and the world tilts. He's fine. Our little otter is doing amazing. Leo flashes me a grin from across the table as my mom turns away to get drinks from the fridge. This is going way better than I thought it would. My dad asks Leo what he's doing for a living, and the wolf tells him he's already got a high-paying job as an auto repair shop. At the same time, he's playing footsies with me under the table, because we still have little leggies. My legs are throbbing regularly now, and not even really hurting. I squint against the bright light of the bathroom as Leo flips it on. He turns to the tub, and I see a bright streak of red on the wall where he does. Then he lays me down in the tub and starts to wrap stuff around my legs. It does start to hurt then, and I groan. Shush. Don't worry, it's fine. This is gonna fix you up completely. The end of the bathroom tub is completely red. Yeah. I lay my head on Leo's chest as he taps away, texting on his phone. I love days like this, where we have the whole afternoon free and we choose to do nothing. It's peaceful and quiet. I love the way the late afternoon sun pours through the window and warms my fur while at the same time being cooled by the fan. I realize that I want to spend the rest of my life with this wolf. Leo nuzzles my neck and head fur, mumbling into my ear, but I can't really understand him. I look down and see that my pants are off and I'm just in my boxers. The ends of my legs are wrapped in red bandages, completely soaked through, soaking into the bed I'm laying in. I start to reach toward them, but my hand is shaking so hard and Leo grabs it and pulls it back to my chest. I'm really cold. In response, Leo draws closer and spoons me. An early morning light is pouring through the window, and I think I can hear sirens. Leo nuzzles my ear again, and I try to pull away, but he holds me tight. Like you said, we're gonna work something out. Yeah. I knew it would be easier to do that here, in Echo, where we started. Seeing you leave on that train was too much. Something leers at me from the corner of the room. Leo gazes at me with pure, unconditional love as he pulls back from our kiss. My first kiss. My excitement comes out in a burst of giggles as I hug my wolf to my body, feeling his soft warmth against me. The wolf hugs back, and we stay like that for a long time. I don't even mind that it's in this rundown train yard in the middle of the hot desert. I'm in love with them. He holds me tight. The throbbing in my legs has stopped. I'm not cold anymore either, just empty. That creature stares at me from the corner, red and grotesque. I stare back as my vision slowly fades. I don't feel anything anymore. Ah, very good, very good. We love to see it. Do we love the that ending? Ending B, you know? Ending number 2. Is that the preference? Is that the preference, guys? But why he shoot Kudzu? Because it's funny. It's what he would do. Yandere, we do love school days in this household. Happy Halloween, everyone. Yeah, hello, John. Okay. Chase has negative plot armor. Chase is a funny main character because of that. Where he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy, guys. I think we'll let this play out for the rest of it. And then we'll cycle back around. Get the real ending, you know, which I also really like. I really like the main ending in Leo's route. I think it's really cute, but you know, we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, dies off screen in this ending. Yeah, well, he probably gets arrested, right? You know, like when the police show up to be like, is everything okay? And he's sitting there hugging a corpse with the legs cut off. Like, that's not a good look. That is not a good look. Oh, but I do love that sequence in the mines where you play as the Echo as Samuel. Love the way that the narration changes. It's very good. It's very good. I love how they play with that a lot more in Flynn's route. It do be that way. The hell out of the FU scene. The FU scene? Oh, right, that one. The man, the pacing of that scene is like kind of ruined. In the 1.0 version, no, the 1.01 release, where they had to extend one of the lines so it doesn't like flow as well anymore. And I'm like, damn, we could have just not mentioned MrJosh. Right? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's get in there, right? Just tell the truth. That's all I want. It's over, Leo! Leo's eyes bore into mine as I look back at him. Now isn't the time for this. In fact, it's the absolute worst time for something like this. But looking at him, I can tell this is the only time for Leo. No, Leo. Leo's eyes widen, and he leans his head back just slightly, at the same time taking a step back. It's like I'm physically pushing him. After everything that's happened, I just can't. Leo seems frozen, watching me, his arms hanging loosely at his side. I hear the crunch of gravel next to me, and Kudzu's by my side. Come on. We're going now. Leo's hand moves, then, to his waistband. I have a moment to see him lift a gun from under his shirt, his eyes on Kudzu. My body moves automatically, stepping in front of the raccoon, and raises my hand up to my chest defensively. Leo has already frozen in motion, though. A gun in front of his stomach is still pointed down at the ground as he stares past me. Wait, what the fuck? Here, give me a moment. Very curious. What? Eh? Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll respond to that later. I was like, why do I suddenly have like 4 notifications? Why is that? No, get that out of here. I don't like seeing the notification thingy. I don't like seeing numbers on it, you know. I'm a little bit of a weirdo like that. I always get a little bit like taken aback and like, oh no, what I do wrong when I log on to like Twitter or Blue Sky and it's like, you have 20 notifications, and I'm like, why? What happened? What I do wrong? Oh. Still pointed down at the ground as he stares past me. What the fuck? I feel Kudzu grab my arm from behind, his grip so tight that it's painful. But I keep my eyes on Leo, waiting and watching to see what direction the gun might go in. You're famous, you fool? Well, I'm not that. I'm not... That's untrue. I am a very low subscriber count person in this community. I'm very much not popular. It is what it is, though. But then it drops. First his arm, which hangs loosely by his side once more, then the gun, which clatters to the gravel below. I flinch, expecting it to go off. It doesn't, and instead my ears are filled with the sound of the arriving train. Leo's eyes are back on mine, and I watch as tears start to spill out. Come on, Leo. We have to get out of here. Kudzu pulls me back, and I turn away from Leo and the town of Echo, and I rejoin the rest of the group. Run! Flynn shoves Carl forward, and the ram takes off alongside the rails, looking over his shoulder at the train. The next thing I know, we're all running after Carl as the train catches up. I look back. Flynn waves both arms at the locomotive as it whizzes by, but there's no reaction from the driver. I don't see it. Did no one notice Leo pull a gun out? Everyone else was doing things. It was only, like, you know, Chase, Leo, and Kudzu that saw the gun. So it's fine. It's fine. He just, God, I'd be the only person to want to draw this, but I've always been like, man, I want Leo with the machine tracer transformation gun. I know no one here has probably watched Kamen Rider Drive, one of the greatest television shows to ever air. It really isn't. It's kind of mediocre, but I love it anyway. But it's good. It's good. I love that whenever Chaser transforms and he activates his gun, you just hear, gun! It's very good. It's very good. I have just enough time to read the letters on the side of the engine, Prescott Railway, before it moves past me down the tracks. I realize then that the train is quite short, maybe only 5 cars in all. We won't have many chances. Kudzu! Flynn points at the caboose and starts running beside it, and next to 2 little steps that drop down at the very end of the platform. Gracefully, the lizard jumps, landing his feet on the steps as his hands stumble for some kind of purchase. He finds it and pulls himself in, and the next second he reaches out, holding out a handle on the caboose as he grabs one of Kudzu's paws. With much more ease than Flynn had, Kudzu jumps onto the steps and pulls himself onto the platform. I'm past Carl at this point, the ram already losing steam. He calls after me in a hoarse, ragged voice. Sorry. Shit, I'm not gonna make. Flynn grabs the ram as he passes, and Carl skips on the uneven gravel, and for a horrifying moment, I think he's gonna fall. But Kudzu leans in and snatches him up as well, practically lifting Carl onto the platform. Jenna, who's right beside me, is next, reaching out a paw to Flynn. He grabs it, and Jenna easily jumps on, over the 2 steps. I think it's my turn next, but TJ slows down abruptly, and I move to the side to make room for him. Flynn grabs his arm, and TJ hesitates several times before Kudzu gets a grip on him as well, and he's able to step up onto the first step. It's then that I realize that the train is picking up speed, and I start slowing down. I move beside the caboose, seeing Flynn's outstretched hand. Now that I'm next to it, I can see how terrifying this is. The wheels clack loudly in my ears, and I have no idea how I'm going to lift one leg while keeping up this one. Oh, we back? Oh, did I drop for a second? Oh, did I? I didn't get a notification that my internet dropped, so I don't know. The wheels clack loudly in my ears, and I have no idea how I'm gonna lift one leg up while keeping up this speed. But I get a grasp on Flynn's hand. A microsecond? Okay. And I see Kudzu's paw stretching out as well. The train's going way too fast, and I know I'll only have one chance at this. The connection issue helps with the spoopy ambience. I get it. I understand. I pull down on their hand and lift my feet up to land on the last step. Once my feet make contact, relief floods through me. I can't help myself as I grin and pull myself up the steps. I don't know if we're safe, or if this whole plan is going to work, but we'd carried it out somehow, and that feels good for once. Then I remember Leo and look back, expecting to see him running next to the train. Instead, all I see is the brush and gravel running past. I look back toward the town, and I think I can make out a small figure in the distance, exactly where I'd left him. Where the hell is Leo? I stay silent, but Flynn follows my gaze out toward the desert. Shit. At that moment, I'm not sure what I should feel. Probably relief. But what I do feel is an incredible wave of sadness, like a physical wave smashing into my body. Probably the same thing Leo felt when I told him. Some part of me knows that this shouldn't matter right now. All that matters is that we might have just escaped with our own lives. But leaving Leo behind. Someone I'd known most of my life. Someone who'd protected me, been a friend to me, guided me through the worst parts of my life. Someone who'd always emphasized togetherness and family, who'd always vowed to protect and stand by my side. That very same person had just chosen to stay behind. Wow, we're the ones leaving. He's the one that decided to leave us. And as the solitary figure grows smaller and smaller, the idea hurts more than anything else right now. After seeing Janice get murdered, after being tortured by Brian, after nearly being murdered in the mine, this separation from my best friend is the knife that twisted into my chest. I sink to my knees, holding onto the railing, wondering if I should have stayed behind. Because the Leo I'd just been with isn't the Leo I really know. He needed help, and I just abandoned him. I should have stayed behind. Hot tears spill out of my cheeks, and I stare at the metal platform. Fuck you! We say the words under my breath, but there's more rage behind them than anything I've said in my life. And they're meant for echo. Fuck you for killing Janice! Fuck you for hurting William! Fuck you for killing Duke! Fuck you for hurting Cliff! Fuck you for what's buried in the mines! Fuck you for hurting Nick! Fuck you for twisting my friend into something they're not! Fuck you for hurting Cynthia and Murdoch! And fuck you for ruining my life! I sit there on my knees, sobbing hard, like I'm crying for two people at once. I can't see Leo anymore, but the thought of him alone and probably hurting like me is too much. I don't know how long I cry for, but it feels like a long time. After a while, I feel a paw on my shoulder. I imagine the rest of my friends standing there, staring at me, but when I turn my head, it's only Kudzu. And Murdoch, I guess, too. Terrible! The raccoon is crouched next to me. His head turns towards me, a look that can only be described as understanding on his face. In a bit of a daze, I rub my face on my shoulder to clear my vision. Sorry. Don't be. Kudzu says it automatically, as he rubs my shoulder gently. Do you want to get up? The rest of them went inside. I stay crouched there for a moment, watching the blur of train tracks in front of me as we continue through the desert. Give me a second. My nose is all stuffy, so my voice comes out clogged. The tiny lights of echo on the endless expanse of desert get smaller and smaller, and so too does the feeling of tension in my chest. And with the tension goes the sad, angry presence in my head. He goes quiet again. It makes me feel a bit better, but each time I think about Leo, that knife gets a bit deeper. Kudzu nods and squeezes my shoulder. After a few moments of silence, he speaks. You know that. Someone I lost a few years ago. I wipe my eyes again and nod. He was my boyfriend. I keep silent as I stare at the tracks, almost hypnotized. That strange feeling of wanting to jump tickles at the back of my brain, then fades away. One night, we were walking along like we usually did, and we got mugged. We should have just given him everything, but my boyfriend, of course, stepped forward, confronted the guy, and got shot. I glance back at the raccoon with no idea what to say. Kudzu shakes his head, like he's coming out of a dream. I'm just saying that I'm here. I might know what it feels like, you know. I cough a little to clear my throat. I mean, he didn't die. Kudzu shrugs. Breaking up can feel like that sometimes. It's a lot more than that. It was all of that. I wave in the direction of the town. It just feels like I lost him right when we got away. We're gonna get people to go back for him. Yeah? I let out a big breath before slowly standing up, my knees popping as I do. Kudzu stands with me as I lean against the railing, choosing not to look out the window, look out at the town, sorry. After a moment, I turn around to face Kudzu. And then I'm hugging him. There's no hesitation this time as he hugs back. I let myself lean into him, letting him support me, feeling the fur on his neck poke through mine. We stay like that for a good 5 minutes, vibrating along with the train. Finally, I pull back. All right, we should probably go in. I don't think it's all that safe out here anyway. Without letting go of Kudzu, without letting me go, Kudzu opens the door and guides me inside. My friends are all sitting in the little seats in the dark, swaying along with the train's movements. Carl sits close to us, and he looks up at the sound of the door. Hey, Chase! Are you okay? I laugh. No. Carl smiles sadly. Yeah, sorry. You're fine, man. I see Jenna and TJ together on a seat further along the wall, and Flynn sits opposite them. Further still, a small shape sits leaning against the opposite end of the caboose, curled up in a seat. It's Clint. Huh. Flynn occasionally glances at him, but the polecat doesn't seem interested in coming closer to us. Kudzu guides me to sit next to Carl, and I make room so that the raccoon can sit next to me. So, where do you guys think we're going? I feel Carl twitching against me as he sits there hunched over. Anywhere is better. As long as it's not hell, I guess. I guess. Kazu's arm goes around my shoulder automatically, and we sit in silence for what feels like a long time. And I don't mind. I wouldn't mind if these were the rest of my life, honestly. Oh, excuse me. For the first time in several days, I feel calm and safe. Aw. Soon enough, though, the darkness of the caboose is illuminated with occasional flashes of light. Flynn looks out the window. Peyton! With a grating screech, the train starts slowing down. I'm a little surprised. I guess I thought the train wasn't even real and it would just go on forever. But now it draws to a slow, stuttering stop. We all sit in the dark, quiet, listening, and then Flynn stands up and opens the door. Soft orange light spills in. What the hell? Out of the doorway, I see rows of train tracks occupied with small boxcars. Someone moves into view. It's an older-looking fox in overalls. He stares up at us like we're aliens. Where the hell did you come from? A moment of silence goes by before Flynn clears his throat. We're from Echo. Lit. I love that this is like the only route that does this. Where they're like, oh no, you're cycling back to the very first moment. It's so good. I'm a big fan of that. You know, we're always going in circles. It's very good. We love to see it. Let me take a drink real quick. Oh. Okay. If you're a bad boyfriend, your ex will begin having hallucinations of you and become violently obsessed. Oh my god. Oh dear. Oh dear. There's something about those circles. It's true. It's true. Yeah, Mom. I promise I'll call you in an hour. No, I'm not. No, we're not staying the night. I promise. Wow, Mom. All right. I swear. I love you too. Bye. I hang up and drop my paw into my lap, sighing loudly. Kazu laughs. Everything okay? I rub my eyes. Yeah, I guess she's just worried, obviously. Kazu reaches over and sets his paw on my knee, squeezing briefly before returning it to the steering wheel. I can still turn back, you know. I take yet another breath and hold it. It's tempting. No! It might even be a better idea to just let the past die. No! But now that I'm leaving the area for good, I want to see it one last time. The town, and Leo. I let the breath out. Nah, I need to do this. I've thought about it for so damn long, there's no way I'd forgive myself for backing out now. I need closure. Hello, Juju Bear. Alright. But if he gets weird at all, I'm taking you the hell out of there. It's tempting, Josh Withers. Now look here. He won't. He's back to normal. As much as any of us can be anyway. But I told him that it's only going to be for a little bit. That we're just driving through. I look over at him. You want to stay in the car? I was planning to. Unless you're planning on going inside. No, I'll stay outside. Alright. But I'll be watching in case you two try anything. Yeah, right. It's been 2 years. That's not very long. Hey, I know Leo. He's not the person that we saw last time. Yeah, I know. I feel my stomach tighten as I suddenly realize we're driving past a lake. then onto Main Street. It's completely abandoned, but then we pass the motel. The windows are all boarded up, and the parking lot is filled with more cracks than I remember. But I'm hit with a wave of familiarity all the same. Standing in the parking lot are two people. Two idiots. Pointing at the motel is a large black bear, and in front of him stands a canine of some kind with a video camera. Kazu snorts and doesn't say anything. At first, I feel a spark of anger at them, for probably seeing the whole thing as a morbid fun adventure. Not even having the slightest idea of what sort of hell the town went through. And then I remember that I'd done the same thing. Granted, it was many years removed, but still the same. We turn onto Leo Street, and my stomach tightens further. Kudzu glances at me. Can I get a kiss before you talk to your ex? Eyes on the road. Kudzu leans over, very deliberately keeping his eyes on the road as he tries to turn his face towards me. I give him a quick peck on the side of his muzzle, and he laughs. I try to laugh as well, but it doesn't, but it gets caught in my throat as I see that old house. And there waiting in the driveway is Leo. Ah, look at him. It's the boy. Hey, how's it going? Leo cheerfully greets me as I open my door. It catches me off guard a little bit. His mood seems so different from mine. Hey Leo, what's up? He has his paws shoved in his pockets, but still manages to shrug. Not much. You? Not much. Leo ducks his head and looks in at Kudzu. Hey, Kud. You alright? Kudzu awkwardly answers from behind me. Yeah, I'm okay. There's a moment of silence as I try to think of what to say or do. Well, hug him? You know? Like, despite everything, that's still a nice way to greet someone that you've known since your fucking childhood, right? Maybe give him a high five, something? I didn't expect Leo to just meet me outside. Did you want to come in for a beer or something? Oh, I'm actually driving for the next couple hours. Yeah, we were just stopping by for a minute. Oh, okay. Leo smiles. Leo's smile falters a little bit, and then he shrugs again. Oh, want to go for a walk then? Stretch your legs. I look back at Kudzu, but he doesn't say anything. Doesn't give me a hint as to what he's thinking. Too soon for a hug? It's been 2 years. Man, I love that he doesn't have the bracelet. That's so good. That's so good. I hope when Paw Print Press makes like the new versions of the bracelet, you can get like a double pack with a silver and gold anchor, so you have the Leo and the Chase bracelet. I'm just saying, it would be cute. It would be cute, okay? He's leaving the decision up to me. Yeah, sure. Leo ducks his head again. You want to come, Cud? Kudzu hesitates, and then shakes his head. Nah, you two go ahead. I prefer the AC. Alright, cool. Feeling just a little tension between the two of them, he did pull a gun out on him, so, like, to be fair. I quickly jump out and shut my door. I look over at the rail yard, which is in full view of the car and point. The therapist must be making bank! You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Wanna walk over there? Sure. So, you've just been hanging out here for the past 2 years? A little bit. I spent a lot of time with my parents. I'm moving back with them right now, actually. Oh, yeah? Yeah, it sucks. But honestly, I can't stand all of the vultures scavenging around for stories here. Sounds like it. But at least you'll be around other people, right? Yeah. It's officially a ghost town now, if you haven't noticed. I look out over the rest of the town, toward the motel and convenience store, and all of the tiny houses and trailers in between. Not a single person. I actually visited Carl once in a while over the summer. Leo nods up toward the mountain, and I can see the big mansion glinting gently in the sunset. Hey, that's cool. I hear he's doing pretty good at school right now. Good. Are you going back to school? To shul? Meh. I shrug my shoulders, walking up to the train tracks to straddle the steel rails. Not in Pueblo, since we're moving up a couple states, but probably eventually. There's a lull in the conversation as we both go quiet. I look around, wondering if this was the spot where we hop the train. The train that turned out to be an old engine and caboose, on its way onto Peyton, where it was then transferred to a train museum. It had been traveling at a gentle 10 miles per hour to keep from derailing off the tracks, just slow enough for us to catch. It was the last of 3 engines being transferred that night. Just a few hours later, the emergency services went in and recovered whoever else was left in town, including Leo. I still wonder if we'd ever needed to hop the train, but I guess I was escaping more than just the town. I look back at Leo. Are you okay? Leo looks up from kicking around some rocks. I scratch my head vigorously, trying to think of how not to say the wrong thing. Have you been doing okay? Are you happy? Leo smiles. Not really. Are you? I think back to the past 2 years of nightmares and panic attacks, of breaking down into tears out of nowhere. How just a few hours ago I dropped to the ground at a grocery store in Peyton because someone dropped a jar of jam. But Kudzu had been there, like always, to help me back up. I'm managing. I can't cope with this. It's a process. Oh, that's good. Are you managing? Leo chuckles. I'm just living. Oh. Are you getting help? Like professional help? Yeah. No. Well, it can really help. I like to do things on my own these days. No, Leo looks back toward the car, Kudzu barely visible through the window. People can help. You don't have to do everything on your own. I think it's best if I stay away from people for now. I noticed the anchor bracelet missing from Leo's wrist. I looked down at the tracks. Listen, I'm sorry about everything. What happened? I wish I could do things over. Even before what happened in Echo. Leo looks at me for a moment, a sad smile on his face. The last 2 years have been hell on me. I cried myself to sleep every night thinking about you. I feel my face flush with embarrassment and, for some reason, shame. But last month, for the first time, it stopped. I stopped thinking about you every hour. I stopped thinking about what you might be doing, about how he might be treating you, about whether or not you're thinking about me. Yeah, I still think about you sometimes, and when I do, I still cry. But now it hurts less. So yeah, I'm doing better, Chase. Oh, well, that's good. I have no right to feel a little sad, but I do. I'm sorry, Chase, for not protecting you the way I should have, for trying to control you, and do all that shady shit behind your back. Whatever the fuck was in this town that made us all go crazy, I realize it twisted up my thinking. But those thoughts were already there. Echo just brought it up to the surface. So I'm a shitty person, and you made me realize that, and I'm sorry I brought you into it. Just know that I really did love you. Leo looks over my shoulder at the car again. Anyway, you should go back to Cud. He'll take care of you. And I hope you'll take care of him, okay? My mouth hangs open a little bit, but that snaps me back to reality. Yeah. I'll do that. I start walking back to the car, but Leo doesn't follow me. I pause. Do you want my new number? We can talk. No. The surprised look on my face makes Leo laugh. It's a real laugh. Kind of sad, kind of happy, but real. That wouldn't be good for either of us. So we're just saying goodbye forever? That old knife in my heart's still twisting again. Leo shrugs. You never know. I stand there, 10 feet away from my first boyfriend. My first kiss in this very rail yard. My best friend. But hey, if you drive through Peyton again, I'm always open for another chat. Maybe you'll catch me in a better place. I will. I say it immediately, and Leo smiles at me. So, I'll see you again someday? I'll look forward to it. All right. Bye then. Goodbye, Chase. I walk the rest of the distance of the car and open the passenger door before getting in and sitting down. With the door still open, I look back one last time. Leo stands there, paws still jammed in his pockets. His fur outlined with orange and gold light from the setting sun, highlighting his head fur like a halo. I take it in for a moment, then wave. He waves back. And with that, I close the door. Ah, I still love that ending. Oh, we got the good music. I'll have to turn it down a little bit. It's a little bit loud. Oh, I still like this route a lot. Cinema, yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's still my favorite ending. Aw, man. Nah, I still love Echo. It's still great. I still love Leo. He's a good pupper. I like how they... I know I said it the first time I played the game on recording, but I love how they gave Leo, like, a good ending, rather than just simply making him the villain of the route. I'm like, but so he's doing better, and he's gonna be okay in a few years. Look, we'll see Leo again, and he'll be happily dating a bird named Josh, you know? Oh, actually, speaking of that, here, I will... Let's... Here, Halloween's over. There we go. Josh, what? What? What do you mean? But Halloween's over. We finished reading Leo's route. We're back to normal. We don't need to wear the costume anymore. No more Chunter, sad. We can bring it out for special occasions, okay? We can bring out the Chunter model for special occasions. He took off the skin suit. Yeah. Look, you all probably thought I wasn't going to finish the route in time. I know it. I know it. Oh man, what? How did it feel to cosplay as yourself? Oh my god. Oh my god. I got out of Chunter's butt. Stop. No. Okay, do I make a Dave model for when I inevitably reread Password? Let's not. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if that would feel weird. I don't think I can do that. No, it would feel too weird. If you were an echo entity, what would you do? What would I do? I'd probably just, like, joke around with people. Be like, hey, what's the matter with you? The implications of you doing that? Yeah, nah, it's not gonna happen. Maybe I'd feel more okay with it if, like, Grizz wasn't my co-host for streaming sometimes. It is what it is. Do you all still like Echo? I know that in, like, Bingo is my son. Are you winning? No. Okay, we're back. We're good? We're good? Yes? Yeah. Alright. Alright. Okay. That's the content for a bad fic. Oh, no, we can't do it. We can't do it. Grizz just turns to the side and goes, my son, are you winning? No. No. It's weird. No. But yeah, do you all still... Are you all Echo fans? Like, I'm a little bit curious. I know that in my server, my Patreon Discord server, people are, like, kind of half and half on Echo as a game. They're either like, it's bad or it's great, and, like, it's weird. It's a little bit weird to me, because I'm like I kind of... Granted, I feel like, I was... What's it called? Feels like this game was very specifically targeted at me, you know? As a pretentious art student, as I was back in the day, right? Having gay furry Twin Peaks Silent Hill, I'm like, yes, 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 give me that. It's everything I want. I got to suplex one of my college projects straight into the trash can because of Echo. Felt so good. I'm like, we're never making you because this already exists. No need for me to try anymore to make my own. It's a mixed bag for you. Aw. Yeah, I think my only issues with Echo as a game is that its pacing can be quite poor at times. But that's really my only issue. Like, if you tighten up Carl and TJ's routes in terms of pacing, like, I almost wouldn't have an issue with them, like, at all. It do just be that way. But it seems like you don't know much about Echo. Oh, okay. Well, it's pretty alright. I do, like Juju Bear, I do have a full playthrough of Echo on my visual novel channel. It should be linked somewhere on this channel somewhere. You know, it's somewhere. Is it in the description? Do I put that in the description of these? Here, let me double check. I do put it in the description. Okay. Just making sure. I do have my other channel, like, linked in the description, so it is what it is. There should be a playlist there for the whole thing that I recorded, what, 3 years ago now? Not the playlist. Oh, yeah. But there is a playlist for it on my other channel, so that's all, if you are the curious. Or you can play it yourself, of course, you know. Is what it is. I prefer to give the credit to Echo than Adastra. Yeah, it's I didn't like Adastra. I feel bad about saying that because it's like easily far more popular than Echo. But you know, I guess I would consider like Adastra more like pop fiction and Echo more pretentious art house nonsense off to the side, you know, for weirdo people that like that sort of thing, right? It's I'm always like reminded that the media that I really like, most people don't really like. Sometimes I would stream anime on my Patreon Discord server, and people would just be like, "Josh, you like this? Like, what even is happening?" And I'm like, "All right, this is an anime for weird people, or like a TV show for weird people." Oh well, it do be that way. During the vid era, I did, yeah. It was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. How about Nekojishi? That's a pretty pop fur game. It is. I consider that like pop fur. You know, that's weird. That's a weird phrasing. I don't like that. I don't like saying pop fur. That's not good. That's not it. That doesn't feel good on my soul. You know, it just doesn't. And they never did the sequel. We'll get it. The next Nintendo Direct, they'll show off Nekojishi 2. Has some questionable stuff. It's like, don't all of these games. Nintendingo must be there, right? I don't think most people know about my weird character I made, Nintendingo. I haven't posted him in, 2 years now? It is okay. It is okay. But I don't post as many drawings as I used to. It's a little bit just do be that way. Maybe I should do more drawing streams. But I'm always like, what do I draw on a drawing stream? I always get hung up on that. So like, you all have to tell me, like, what you all want to see me draw. Obviously, has to be safe for work, which I always draw safe for work, right? Yes. I never draw not safe for work things, you know. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it never happens. We are wholesome, Christian, TJ approved. Like, it is what it is. Slice of life in the password mansion. You know, I think I've drawn more password drawings than literally anything else. It is, real unfortunate. It's fine though. It's fine. I do like Password a lot. I think I do like Echo more though. It's this one's more, it is more of a personal liking. Like that Echo ticks all of my boxes of being pretentious art house nonsense, because that's the kind of media that I like. Or Slice of Life of Smoke Room. You know, I upset a lot of people on my Patreon when I had said this, but like, I'm not a big fan of Smoke Room. I don't think it's bad or anything. I'm just like so neutral on it. Like, it exists. Like, I don't really like it as a prequel to Echo. I don't really like care about like the majority of its characters. You know, I'm rather open about not liking MrJosh or Cliff. And not liking their routes, like, entirely. It's okay to have preferences. It's true. Fake Furry fan. I mean, a lot of it is also, like, how it's written and things, where I don't think it follows the writing of Echo as much as it should. It's a little bit weird. We're not going to get into that. We are not going to get into that. I'm not going to... Do I make a 3-hour video essay on how Smoke Room is a disappointing prequel to Echo? Bring those 1,000 subs here. Clickbait title and everything. Oh god. See, the problem is I think I could only ever have one really long video essay in me. And I feel like no one would care about this topic. Literally no one would care about this topic, okay? Only me. I am the only person on the planet that cares about this. But legitimately kind of want to make, and this won't happen. This won't happen. I do not want to commit the time and resources to making this. But I wanted to make a video essay titled, like, The Real Persona 5 Royal. And it be a video essay about Cardfight Vanguard G Stridegate. Because if you've played Persona 5 Royal and you've watched that anime, it is really weird how it's the same. It is really weird that the entire casts line up, and that Vanguard did it so much better. The thumbnail would definitely have been that shot of Chrono reaching his hand out towards the towards the camera, towards the villain of the season, going like, "No, your life has meaning," like trying to save him. That would have been the thumbnail. I had already decided that. It's really good. Also, I did look up the dates for everything. I did look up the dates. And it is entirely possible that the writing team for Persona 5 Royal could have totally just taken from... taken from Stridegate. It's totally possible. It's really weird. I can fix him guy. It's less I can fix him and more like him going, like, don't give up. Like, I don't like you or agree with you, but I don't want you to simply give up. Like, that was kind of like the theme at the end. But other than that, like, that's a... Because that's kind of what happens also at the end of, Persona 5 Royal, right? With Maruki. And god, you just look at Maruki's design, and you look at Ryuzu's design, when Ryuzu was still an adult. And it's like, oh my god, these are, like, nearly the same character. What the fuck? And you look at the rest of the cast of Stridegate versus, like, how... Like, Stridegate introduces a new girl in Persona 5 Royal. They have the same backstory and the same emotional payoff, and I'm like, what the fuck? This can't line up this well. This can't line up like this. It's weird, guys. It's weird when you watch both. But alright. I think I should stop babbling. Stop wasting your guys' time. I got dinner to cook. I'm a little bit hungry. But it's okay. That's alright. So I hope you have enjoyed. Wait, Josh? What? I'll wait for a second. What is it? What are we doing? We are here because it's fun. It's true. I do hope so. I do hope so. Not in a weird way. Okay. Alright. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around. Have a good night, everyone. Hope you've had a good Halloween.